What's going on, guys? From the new Build Metaverse series, we've got two new entry grade kits to take a look at. We're going to be taking a look at the first one here today, which is the Lah Gundam. This one's based off of the RX-78-2 with a whole bunch of new parts in there, but of course it is an entry grade too, so it should be a pretty simple and straightforward kit. But all right, before we check out the kit, let's go ahead and check out the box and its contents here. Right off the bat, I mean, you can sort of tell, depending on how you look at it, that it's based off of the RX-78-2, but there's quite a lot of new parts in here that don't really make it immediately obvious that it's based off of the original Gundam. You can see we got new parts for the head, shoulders, the shield there, obviously for the skirt armor to create this kind of look there with that. On the knees as well, so there's quite a lot of new parts in here. We got some new weapons there on the backpack as well, so a lot of really cool stuff. On the side of the box here, you can see this is number 01 in the line, and it's a pretty thin box there, as you can see. On the side of the box, showing how, because this is an entry grade kit, you can just snap the parts off the runner and snap them together very easily, and then you have a really nice construction here. Really nice color separation for how simple the parts design is on these. This is the unpainted state, so you can see that's exactly how good it's going to look. Those parts up there on the shoulders and the front skirts, for example, are not stickers, and those are actually color separated, which looks really nice. We have the beam La Naginata here, which is a cool weapon there. As I mentioned, that's what's up on its backpack there, as you can see. We do have a new part, which is basically just like a new camera part, but it does make the rifle look a little bit different from the standard Gundam beam rifle, so I like that new change. But it looks like we do have the original parts for the backpack and for the beam rifle if you did want to use those. I imagine those parts are just left over on the runner, so they're just kind of pointing that out to you. Hey, you do still have these parts if you prefer. On the other side of the box, we've got a look at the painted kit front and back right there. A little bit about the Metaverse series, and with that, we can go ahead and pop the box. I imagine we're only going to have a few runners in here, of course. We'll take a look at those in just a second. First, let's take a look here at the instruction manual, where on the top half we have that box art. Once again, on the bottom half here, we have some more information about the Lah Gundam and the pilot Rio. Over here, all the information is in Japanese and in English. So if you guys did want to read that, you can go ahead and check that out. I'll put that on the screen there for you guys. Have you started watching the series? It's now a couple episodes in, and I'm wondering what you guys think about it. Let me know down in the comment section below. But on the back side, this is just the continuation in color here of kind of the end of the construction of the kit. So I think there's probably not going to be too much more else to see in here. Right here is our parts list, and then this is kind of showing you which section of which runner goes to, like the head, for example, the torso. You're going to use these parts of this runner, the arms, the legs, etc. And the first page of construction is also in color here, and then we have some more information up at the top about the Gunpla evolution point, which is kind of cool. As for the inside of the fold-out manual, it's all going to be here in black and white, but considering this is an entry grade kit, you can see the construction is very, very simple, and it almost seems like, I mean, I kind of hate to say it, almost seems like there's a lot of kind of wasted space here, a lot of empty space, because it's very simple construction spread over 4 full pages there, plus the little bit that we had at the front in color for the head and torso, and then at the end for the weapons. So it's basically just like the construction of the arms, legs, and waist. They're spread out over 4 pages. But let's go ahead and get into the runners here. No polycaps, of course. So here's runners A1 and A2, which have originally been designed to be connected like that, but now snapped apart. We have some red parts in there, some gray parts, some black parts for what originally would have been blue on the original Gundam, and then yellow parts up there, 4 parts for the head, the vents, and a couple of yellow accents there on the skirt. The beam weapon part is there on there, as you can see. Runner B1 is here in white, all of our white armor parts from the original Gundam, so you can see all of that on there, kind of separated into the different parts of this runner. And then runner D is going to be our new runner here for this kit, which has some new parts in gray, new parts in red, white, and then our clear pink parts there at the top for the beam effect, and then a new part which is going to go in on the head there as well. And that's it for all the runners. This is everything that's new for this kit is just right here on the D runner, which is kind of cool. Alright guys, so here is the kit. Don't wave it around by the backpack, apparently. Here's the kit all built up, and yeah, it's another awesome entry grade kit. I'm not too sure I'm totally sold on some of the aspects of the design. It's like a very stylish stick design here for this one, I feel like. And I'm thinking it's definitely going to look a lot better once you actually go through and get it all painted up. But even if you're not wanting to paint it, I mean, the color separation on those new parts is really quite interesting, and you have all of that really nice articulation that you get from the entry grade line, and just the ease of construction. So I mean, it's a really quick, really simple build. So if you're very new to Gunpla, or if you're getting this for a friend or a family member or someone who's very new to building model kits, I mean, it's something that anyone can build with a great amount of ease, which is one of the nice points about the entry grade line as well. So I mean, let's go ahead and check out the accessories here and the kit in closer detail. And so as it is, actually it already has kind of most of the accessories on there. We've got our beam rifle, which is the same as the original beam rifle. The only difference is that it's got a new piece here for the camera, which is a little bit different from the original one. And we've also got the shield here, which is just plugged right onto the arm. It's just made up of a couple of pieces there. You can see on the backside we do have some nice detail there, a couple of like hollow gaps, but it's not too bad looking on the front. It does look pretty nice. And then around here on the backpack we have the two halves of the beam naginata. Now you can use this as two separate handheld weapons, just this one sort of little like spike spear kind of weapon. And then this part is the one that the beam effect actually plugs into. We have a pretty cool beam effect for that, which is going to look pretty nice. And then of course you can attach the two halves together at the midsection there for the full effect, and the full length of that is going to be coming out to about 17 centimeters in length. So you can see it's actually taller than the Gundam itself with the beam effect attached onto there, so quite long. That's it for all of your accessories. That said, of course, we do have some leftover parts. So just from the original Gundam, we have the original Gundam's shoulder armor here. We've got the original RX-78-2's front skirt armor. The front knee armor right there is also changed. As I said, the camera for the beam rifle, if you want to go with the original one, you can use that. Same thing with the backpack. So the backpack is just a little bit different there in this case. Still has the hard point in the center for plugging the shield onto there or whatever else you might want to. And then of course the parts for the original head. Now the face pieces on the inside are going to be exactly the same. It's just the parts on the outside of the head are going to be different in this case. Unfortunately, the new parts for the head will have a little bit of a seam line right there on the center part, whereas the original head for the entry grade RX-78-2 didn't have any seam line there, as it's just one piece. That said, I guess you do have a little bit of a seam like for this part on like the top of the camera bit, so it's kind of a trade-off there, I suppose. But that's it in terms of any of our accessories or anything else included with this. That's all we're going to have. The clear part there for the front of the head is kind of interesting looking. I can't say that I'm a huge fan of it. One of the aspects of the design that I'm just not really that into, I think, is just kind of the overall shape and the design of the head. The V-fin feels like too big. And then this part there, that clear pink part there on the front of the head also just seems kind of extra large and out of place. I think it's meant to look kind of very ornamental, right? And then also these parts here on the new shoulder and front skirt parts, the fact that those are color separated parts and don't rely on stickers is nice, and that's cool and good technology. Also, these shoulder pieces don't have any seam line, just like with the original one. It's just a solid white piece, so it's nice that you don't have seams there. Aside from the seam that I mentioned on the head, the only other seam lines you really are going to have on this is going to be on the beam rifle, which you can already kind of see right there. And then also for the lower leg, just like with the original RX-78-2, the lower leg part is just two halves put together, so you do have a seam line down the middle of that. Otherwise, for the most part, it's pretty much the exact same kit. We do have still a nice range of articulation here built in with this, so that should make posing it really fun and simple and easy. Again, another reason why this kit is great for beginners. There's a hard point for putting it up on an action base. Obviously no action base included, but I would just recommend picking one up. That also gives you a lot of options in terms of how you might want to pose it. The under the side of the feet does have a nice amount of detail there. Unfortunately, just a little bit of hollow gap there at the front of the toe. So again, it's kind of good and bad, mixed anyway. It really would have been nice if these vents in the front of the knee was a separate yellow piece. So if they would have made this as kind of two pieces, a yellow piece that goes on the inside and the white piece on the outside to make that color separated. So you will have to mask that part in order to paint those vents yellow as they're supposed to be. So kind of a shame about that, because otherwise the color separation on this is so nice. All the color separation you have for like the eyes and then here in the front of the waist section is all being separate pieces is great, just because those are carried over from the original kit. Really would have been nice if they would have been able to do the same thing here for the knees. But otherwise, it's a pretty good looking kit. Let's try out some poses. I mean, as I was just saying, the articulation and the posability of this kit is really, really nice. So you're able to get it in all sorts of different poses quite simply and easily, which is always fun and just makes the kit a lot more enjoyable when it comes to displaying the kit, just because if it's easier to get it into a cool pose, that just saves you a lot of hassle of trying to mess with the kit, you know, whether you're painting it or not, trying to hassle with it and mess with it and try to get it into a pose that looks right and looks good. With a kit like this, it's very easy to do that. I think for me, the only real thing about this kit that I kind of get hung up on is just the general general aesthetics of it. When it was first announced, I just was not really into the design at all, and it's kind of grown on me a little bit just because it's a fun build. But I'm interested to know what you guys think of the design generally. I think, like I was saying before, that it's going to look a lot better once it's all painted up, because I think maybe one of the things that's just kind of got me hung up on this one is maybe it's just the color scheme. I'm not sure, but I'll definitely be looking forward to getting this painted up and seeing it in kind of a little bit different color scheme. Hopefully you guys will be looking forward to that as well. But just speaking on the entry grade line in general, I was not really expecting them to be introducing 2 new entry grades. Well, they're just kind of variants anyway, but variant entry grades for the new Metaverse series is kind of interesting and just makes me think that we're going to see maybe a little bit of a pickup from what I expected. In terms of the number of entry grade releases, I thought it was going to basically be relegated to just kind of the main mobile suits of some really popular series like we saw with the Strike, the RX-72, the new Gundam. So I was expecting maybe we'll see like maybe an Exia or possibly a Barbatos or something like that. I'm not sure. Those are maybe a little bit less likely just due to their designs, but you get what I mean, that I thought it was just going to be for like only the really most popular lead Gundam designs. But this just kind of does open up the door to the possibility of more entry grades being maybe some other kind of grunt suits or other Gundams. I mean, these may be lead mobile suits from the Build series, but the fact that we're getting 2 new ones at the same time here from this new series is kind of interesting. It makes me think that maybe we're going to see more entry grades coming out in the future than kind of what I was expecting. What would you guys like to see out in the entry grade line? Leave a comment down below and let me know. I think probably a lot of people are going to say something like a Jim or a Zaku 2. I think those would make a lot of sense, but definitely let me know your guys' ideas, what you would like to see out in the line. There's a lot of really great possibilities, I think, and just the way that entry grades are made does work really well with a lot of the more kind of like simple designs and grunts type designs and stuff like that. So let me know if you guys want to check out this kit for yourself or the other kits from this series or any other Gunpla or mecha models, tools, paints, and supplies. All that good stuff, you guys can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store right down there below the video. As always, guys, thank you so much for all of your support, liking the video, commenting, subscribing, all helps out quite a bit. So thank you all so much. Until next time, hope you guys all have a great day. See you guys later. Bye.